Good morning, y'all. I am going to go ahead and do a quick Tuesday tally. I'm not going to walk the entire garden because I've shown you guys pretty much what's going on in half of the garden already this week or the end of last week, whenever that video went out. I'm not sure what it was. So I'm going to start in the back. Actually, I'll start here on the lanai and show you some things that have been going on. So starting off with the lettuce tower, I did go ahead and get all of my lettuce seedlings transplanted into the tower. Also down on the, well, what's going on here? Also down on the two lowest levels, I started some seeds. I don't know. I don't even remember what kind of seeds I put down there. I can't see that far down to see what they were, but I got all of the lettuce seedlings put into the tower. They're looking good. The soil is a little bit dry. I need to water it today, and I need to tighten up my camera because for some reason it's doing a little spinny stuff. Hang on one second. Let me try to tighten this up. Okay, so I see what's going on. I don't have the right selfie stick. This is my old selfie stick, so this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to have to keep the stick pretty short in order to keep the phone from flipping sideways. So we've been having some pretty cool weather, and my tomato seedlings are getting a little bit of wind burn. They're not liking this cold weather, but they're going to be fine. For the most part, they're okay. I'm going to go ahead and start getting them transplanted into some bigger pots so that they're okay. I've got some celery coming up. I've got some mesclun that needs to get put somewhere. And then I started a new round of lettuce seeds. I also started some more herb seeds, and I started those last night. So it's going to be a couple days before we see anything happening in these trays. There's more of the seeds that I started last night. And then the bok choy is coming along. Now, I'm going to have to restart my zinnias again because for some reason, every time I start these, I completely forget that I started them and then I don't water them. And we all know as gardeners what happens when you don't water plants. I've got these two salvias that I started from seed, and the smaller one, I had to do a major trim on it because it was being attacked by mealybugs, but it's pushing growth, so I'm okay. We need to get those put somewhere. I'm just not even sure where. The orchids are all still not the happiest little fellas. Still got some that are dropping leaves from the virus that was going through here, but I think I've got it pretty much under control. I am getting some bloom spikes, and I mean, that's always good. If I can get some blooms, then I know the plant isn't too bad off. Now, there are some situations where plants will push blooms when they are extremely stressed, and I didn't see that happening with most of the orchids until they were starting to look a little bit healthier from dealing with the virus. This dendrobium just drops leaves all the time. I don't ever really get worried about it. This thing can go months and months and months without me doing anything to it. Same thing with this one. They are just heavy leaf droppers for whatever reason, and I don't worry about it. These seedlings were all beans that I started with the intention of getting them out into the green stalk, and then we got the cold weather, so I wasn't even able to get them out there. So I think I'm going to just scrap these. They're not dead. I mean, if you look close, you see some new growth spots coming in. They're extremely stressed because they're cold. This is a warm day, and we've got another cold front coming in Thursday, so it's just not going to be a good time for those beans, so I might as well just go ahead and throw them away. This whole tray of brassicas, They're doing pretty good. They've gotten a little happier since it's cooled off a bit. And that tray is also brassicas, but we can see some really sketchy germination going on there. And I'm going to go ahead and get some flowers started in these trays. So I went ahead and left my little, what do you call this thing? This is it's like, I don't know what to call it. It's like a little potting tray, but it's, basically like a tart with snaps on it. I just left it out because why go through the trouble of putting it away just to take it back out? So I'm going to go ahead and start some more seeds and get some flowers started and hopefully have enough flowers to put out in the next couple weeks or so. The Christmas tree is still looking good. It still brings me joy to come out here and I can think about my bestie. I'm still having a hard time with that. Still, it's been a month now and I don't know. I guess I just wasn't ready to have her not be here anymore. And going through Thanksgiving was tough because she's one of the first people that I usually chat with on any holiday to see how she's doing. Because with her having moved to Texas several years ago, we don't get to hang out. So I would just send her text messages and we would laugh and joke about things like old times. The vanilla orchid is having a tough time because it doesn't have anywhere to climb. So it's trying to get on the ground and I've got to come in here and give it something else taller to wrap around. I don't really want it to attach to these trees. These are fruit trees and I really need to get them out of these pots, but I don't want them planted in this particular spot when I take them out of the pots. So I don't want the vanilla to attach to it. I just got to figure out what to do with this poor thing. Nobody's hanging out over here right now because it's been a little bit too cool. And this is also a spot that the mosquitoes like to hang out because there's so much humidity over here in this area between all of these plants that the mosquitoes just really, really, really love to be right here. And there is no relaxing when you're getting chewed up by mosquitoes. This orchid's doing pretty good. I see it's pushing some new blooms. This is a trichoglottis. And it does have blooms. I don't know if you can see because since I have the wrong selfie stick, I can't really see what's going on. But yeah, there's the trichoglottis is doing good. It is pushing out new limbs, so I can't complain about that at all. So see a little baby. I don't know if you can see that little baby. See it? Little tiny baby blooms coming. There's another one here. And that's a few down, all the way down. Looks like every joint is pushing a bloom right now. So, and even on the smaller one there. Not bad, not bad. I don't usually show my orchids. I don't know why. I guess I don't really think of them when I'm thinking about the garden as a part of it, but I guess, they really are. But they're doing good. There's a fragmentpedium over here. I don't think it's blooming. It has not bloomed for me yet, but it is still healthy. And this one, I don't even remember what this one is. I thought it was done, but it is pushing new growth. It's a dendrobium. I just don't know which one. So, yeah, I love my orchids. I'm really looking forward to getting the orchid collection back up to where it was. Let me show you guys the lettuce. This is black-seeded Simpson that I started in, sorry about my hair. I started in this tray. Had some poor germination on this side, but you see a couple of them that are coming in. I'm going to go ahead and reseed this side because I'm going to be cutting all of this off really, really soon to have a little bit of a meal. I talked to my husband about it and he says, "You're just going to give it to the guinea pigs." I said, "Nope, not this time. It's going to be your salad." But he won't eat all of that at once. The blooms on the cordyline are so pretty. I like those a lot. And even though this area is a little bit messy and overgrown, I really appreciate it for what it is, just seeing what nature does with the ageratum popping up in the bag. We have some flowering weeds that are always lending themselves to paint the sky a little bit. This is one of the crepe myrtles that I need to get out of the pot and put it in the ground now that it has gone to sleep. But the trouble that I have is this jasmine has to be taken down off of it before I can do any of that. And if you look closely, this thing is really, really wound nicely around that crepe myrtle. All from a base planting. I'm not going to go that way. We are dealing with a little rodent issue. We've got some rats that have decided that they want to come and eat anything that I plant for myself to eat. And so I got some baits, which I am really not interested in using, but at this point I feel like I don't have any choice. I'm going to have to poison the rats and say a prayer that hopefully no birds eat the rats that have eaten the poison, but I got to get rid of them. Some things I just don't like to put into the environment, but I'm being forced. My hand is being forced. I am trying to get you a view of the Arizona cypress, which has a really, really pretty color right now. But because of the position of the sun and I'm on the north side of the house, it's kind of hard for me to get it this time of day. But it's really, really pretty. It's a nice icy blue. And it's got a phenomenal fragrance. I understand that there's a lot of people who don't like the smell of the Arizona cypress. It is pretty fragrant and I like it. I like it a lot. Makes me feel like I have a little bit of winter around. So all of these nice little shade plants over here are doing pretty good. They're being attacked by some weeds. The hostas are trying to push their way through the weeds. This bed was filled with Ruellia. And all of these things with the little white spots, things that are getting attacked right now. And I'm so happy that they're getting attacked because I hate them. Filled this entire bed all the way across. And I don't know why people plant them. They're a weed here. Once you put them in the ground, they have this rhizome that spreads like a whole web and you cannot get rid of it. I've got to move a spider web in order to go past here. So come on, spider. You got too much going on. I really don't want to mess up your web, but I got to get by. Look at the beauty of that philodendron. This plant makes my heart happy. And I've got quite a few plants in here for foliage interest. And some of them are shining and some of them are struggling to get enough light to shine. But it is a shade bed. It is in full shade all day until about, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it's getting quite a bit of sun. When the mulberry is leafed out, it still stays in shade because it's so full. But this time of year, once it drops its leaves, this bed starts to get a little bit more sun. So I do need to get in here and do a little bit of cleanup, pull some weeds, thin out some of these plants that are just enjoying their life a little bit too much, and hopefully give some life to some of the others. Like, there are some really, really pretty leaves down here, and you don't get to see them because, like, the ferns take over. I didn't plant these ferns here. I planted 2 ferns, but these are not the ferns that I planted. And then there is a crocodile fern in the back that is not happy. I think I'm going to dig that up and try to get a replacement for it. I think it's really sick. I got to get that plant off the wall. My husband's going to freak out. He hates to see plants growing up the wall, and it's doing it everywhere. The mustards that I put in this bed are doing okay. I covered a couple of them, never got back out here to finish covering the rest. Surprisingly, the ones that are covered seem to be the strongest, but I'm not really sure why. But they're growing. They're going to be harvesting size not long from now. The dill is looking good. The parsley is looking pretty good back here. Finally coming up. It took it quite a bit of time. There is a weed in that pot hiding, but I see it. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to clean up the weeds that are back here. I do need to take this cover off, so let me just go ahead and do that while I'm standing here. So I've got to get some light back to these tomatoes that are here. I won't take the mesh cover off. I'll leave that on because we are expecting some cool drops again. Not as cool as we've been, but we are going to be getting some 40s again. But look at the tomatoes. This is why I had to cover this up. This darn thing is making tomatoes in the winter, fall, late fall, early winter, whatever you want to call it. This is about as winter as we're going to be, so I'm going to go with winter. I still have not put drip on this strawberry pot, and you can see what's happening with some of my strawberries. They're just not making it. But then I have the few that are, and I'm going to take that. It's my fault. I've gotten so busy that I haven't had time to come out here and do the drip. But I need to do it. This is a pink jatropha. Typically they're red. I've got 2 red ones in the front yard. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them. And I'm going to try something a little bit radical with this guy because it's been thin and wispy since I bought it. I'm not sure if it's just the color variation that makes it grow differently, but I'm going to try chopping these branches back and see if I can get it to thicken up a little bit. Worst case scenario, I kill the poor thing and I have to dig it out. This is an apricot drift rose. I do believe it's apricot. Yeah, apricot. It looks very, very pink to me. I'm not really sure why they call it apricot. I would expect apricot to be more of a peachy color, but I don't know. The Lespedeza is blooming. It's typically a summer blooming plant, but because we had to cut it back so hard after the storms, I guess it feels like it's done a lot of growing and it should be blooming. So That's what it's doing. I need to give it an iron treatment so that it can color up properly. Still don't know what I'm going to put in this bed, but with all the seedlings that I just started, I'm sure I'll have something that I can drop in there soon. The azaleas are doing absolutely the best since I've gotten them. They've been, a couple years, and I know that this environment is very, very difficult on plants, but I'm starting to see some significant growth. I think it's the third year. So this would be the leap year. And if it is indeed the third year, they are definitely making a leap, because they sat here looking like sticks, doing absolutely nothing the entire time that they've been here. Again, this red maple, I don't know why it's leafed out already. This is a blue point juniper that is very, very thirsty. Can't seem to give it enough water. But I'm going to let it stay there and see what it does. I am looking for a lemon cypress. Not really sure where I'm going to put the lemon cypress, but I want one. So I'll find a spot. This bougainvillea is pretty happy this year. It's growing nicely. It's been shocked a few times when the pot gets tipped over and I have to cut out the taproot that has come through the bottom of the pot and gone into the ground, but hasn't set it back any of the 3 or 4 times that I've had to cut it off. So my slash pine isn't showing any really significant growth yet, but I mean, it's only been in the ground for a couple months. Sounds like we're getting some lawn service today, which is odd because it's Tuesday and they don't typically come on Tuesday. Oh my God, there's a hummingbird. I don't think I'm going to be able to zoom in that far. The light just isn't right. Do you see it? That right there is why I garden, y'all. That is it. All right, so I've shown you the green stalk already. The orchids, not orchids, these are okras. The okras are having some trouble. They don't like this weather, and so they're stressed and they're being attacked by fungus and bugs. I did start new okra last night, so these are going to get snatched out. But in the meantime, they're producing okra. We'll see if those mature to a harvestable size. So we got this fella here. This is the snow rose that I moved from the front yard. Again, my camera's flipping all over the place. And it's not dead, but it's not alive. Does that make it a ghost? It's blooming because it's stressed. It's got the cutest little flower on it. I'm going to cut it back harder and see if anything comes from the base. I also need to get those weeds out of there. This Dianella was transplanted also from the front. Pretty much everything in this bed was transplanted from the front, with the exception of this coleus, which I bought. And I had it sitting around for some time. But the Dianella is in bloom. That one's doing pretty good. This one was shocked quite a bit. So it's got a little setback from being snatched out of the ground. The white drift rose Has not skipped a beat. These guys got transplanted, just kind of shifted them over from that area and moved them over here. They seem happy enough. It's just messy. Just messy. Take a look at that little Spidey. You see it? There's one right there. There's one moving right there. There's another two in the back. There's one right there. There. They're going to be upset because I've got to trim those. The triangle plant is doing pretty good. I need to go ahead and give it a trim. I would like to let it keep going and maybe hold it somewhere, maybe about 2 or 3 inches, maybe 6 inches lower than what it's at, because this is the Calicarpa beautyberry. It kind of grows up here somewhere. So I would like to see a couple of little levels here between these plants. Pences always do good. The ajuga here is just kind of dying back. I think that it will come back. I think that it'll come back. I hope that it will come back. I still need to get that silver buttonwood in the ground and go ahead and trim those hedges. The hummingbird has gone on its way. The alternanthera is struggling in this pot because I need to run drip. Somebody please make me run drip to my plants. Got a couple of rogue growths coming out of the viburnum hedge. I want to take these out. And this is one of the spots that I'm kind of thinking about if I can find a lemon cypress. Dropping one right here. This is a croton, and I think it's called Majestic or Majesty or something. I don't know. I can't. Don't quote me on the name because I know I'm wrong. I'll look it up. Maybe. I ain't going to promise. I want to take this out, and I think I want to go ahead and put a lemon cypress here because a lemon cypress will fill in nicely in that spot. They only get about 3 feet wide, and it'll give me a good 6 feet of growth. 6 to 8 feet of growth there just to fill in that little triangle. And then I can come in here with something dark foliage color to contrast with the lemon cypress. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get something else planted here. The garlic's not doing it. Now, I did have some garlic that was coming up here. And it is possible that the rats ate it. They shouldn't have eaten it, but I don't put anything past swamp rats because after all, I do live in the Everglades. So I don't know. I don't put anything past them. Things that they aren't supposed to like garlic and onion repellents and stuff, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything at all. They still come right up to it. They do whatever they want to do. There are a ton of chives and garlic chives in the area that they hang out the most. They don't care. So, a little bit of beautiful bloom going on and a whole lot of messy weeds going on. This bed looks so good when I actually have the time to sit. There's a moth that came to visit. Sorry, I'm getting distracted, but when nature is doing what nature does, I gotta show you. How awesome is that? Is just coming by to have a little bit of breakfast. And because of nature, this has now gone over 30 minutes when I was supposed to just be doing a quick Tuesday tally, showing you half of the garden that I haven't shown you. He sees me now and he doesn't care. Just gonna keep on getting a little breakfast. Is it tasty? Bye-bye. Okay, so back to the weeds. More stuff to clean out. More Ruellia. This whole bed was Ruellia as well. And you'll see the Ruellia blooming here, the purple blooms. That's the Ruellia. It's a very pretty flower. You are guaranteed to get blooms if you're growing them. They bloom in the morning and drop their flowers at night. And they consistently bloom. This is another drift rose. Here, and let me just come over here and show you. I finally prepped this bed for planting. So you don't have to hear me say, I'm going to prep this bed for planting anymore. It's prepped. Now you're just going to hear me say, I don't know what I'm going to put in it. I need to plant something here. I think I showed you the peppers the other day. They are starting to produce. Some of them died, but I got enough that didn't die, and they are starting to fruit. So I'll take it. So that's it for this Tuesday tally. I've got to run a couple errands and get some things done. I need to finish working in the garage. We have some work going to be getting done here. So the garage is a whole mess. I had to move some things off of the shelves, or I should say my husband moved the things off of the shelves. And hopefully we will have this work done soon. And I can get my car back in the garage. So until next time, guys, I've got to film a couple of videos. Otherwise, I'm going to end up missing Wednesday and Friday. And I'm not quite sure what it is I'm going to do. Maybe if I decide what I'm going to put in that bed, I'll go ahead and record that. And that will be the Wednesday video because I won't have a whole lot of editing to do to it. I also have been collecting my seed catalogs, and I'm thinking about just kind of sitting down, taking it easy, and talking about what I may or may not be ordering for seeds, because I need more seeds. Like I need a hole in the head. But as a gardener, I think you guys understand that we are seed collectors and we like to try as many things as we possibly can. I don't know. My life is chaos right now, and I'm just trying to get myself through it without having a full-on breakdown from the stress of just life happening. It's just so much going on right now, and because my garden is the only thing that really allows me to fully decompress and calm down, I'm trying to get as much as I can done whenever I can steal a moment. So I hope that you guys are having better days and weeks than I have been having, but I'm grateful for the fact that I'm still alive and I still can talk about the fact that I'm having a difficult time right now. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. I will see you Wednesday and Friday, hopefully. Bye.